Hello guys, and welcome to our channel. Before we start, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Let's not waste time and dive straight into our story. The storyteller says her older sister's problem began the very first day she moved into her house after getting married. My sister's husband owns a big house. Honestly, it's not just a house. It's a huge villa. It's breathtaking. But this house originally belonged to his late sister. The house has a strange story, but we only discovered it recently. Let me tell you the story from the beginning so you can understand everything in detail. My sister was proposed to by a well-mannered man. We all liked him and felt comfortable with him. We accepted him as her husband, and the engagement was finalized, followed by the marriage contract. My sister then started preparing for the wedding. She was very happy. One day, her fiancé came to take us, along with my sister, to see the house she would live in and start furnishing it. Honestly, the moment I entered the house, despite its size and luxury, I felt something strange. The house was massive, consisting of 3 floors. Each floor had 3 bedrooms, a large living room, a spacious kitchen, and 2 bathrooms. Around the house was a big garden with all kinds of decorative plants. It's the kind of house anyone would dream of living in, except for me. From the moment I stepped into that house, I felt an odd sensation. I felt like I was suffocating. While we were walking around, exploring the house, I kept feeling like someone was circling us. I felt like someone was with us. I was scared, but I didn't want to ruin my sister's happiness. I didn't want to tell her what I was feeling. However, I told her. Honestly, sister, I don't like this house. If I were you, I wouldn't live here. I'd ask my husband to find another house. My sister, laughing and happy, replied, "Where would we find a house like this?" And honestly, she had a point. She had every right to be impressed. As I mentioned, the house was big, luxurious, and spacious, almost like a palace. Anyway, my sister started preparing the house, buying elegant furniture with her fiancé. The wedding day came, and we were all happy and excited for my sister and her husband. She moved into her new house and started her married life. But from the very first day, she began to feel strange things. She would tell her husband about it, but he would dismiss her concerns. My sister was on the verge of losing her mind. Her husband didn't take her seriously at all. She used to call me often, sharing stories about the strange things happening to her in the house. One day she said, "I swear to you, sister, I was preparing lunch when suddenly I heard my husband groaning as if he were in pain. I dropped everything and rushed to check on him. To my surprise, he was standing in front of me perfectly fine. When he saw me, he smiled, came closer, kissed my forehead, and said, 'I'm going to take a nap until lunch is ready.' I was confused. Was I imagining the sound I heard? I tried to brush it off and went back to the kitchen to finish cooking. Suddenly, I heard my husband calling me again. I was about to finish cooking when I felt him enter the kitchen, come closer, and whisper in my ear, 'I didn't call you. Why didn't you respond to me?' I turned to apologize and explain that I wasn't ignoring him, just busy. But to my shock, when I turned around, no one was there. I left everything and ran to the bedroom, only to find my husband sound asleep. The storyteller says, "These strange incidents kept increasing, and there was no logical explanation for them. My sister would often wake up terrified, crying, and when her husband asked what was wrong, she would say, 'Someone hit me on the face while I was asleep.' There would even be fingerprints on her face, not to mention the bruises and marks all over her body. Her husband didn't know what to do. My poor sister was truly losing her mind. She prayed frequently, asking Allah to lift the suffering she was enduring. Months went by like this until my sister got pregnant. Miraculously, all the strange occurrences stopped completely. She didn't see or hear anything anymore. She completed her pregnancy and gave birth to a baby boy. Life went back to normal. She didn't experience anything strange again, until her son started talking. That's when the problems returned, but this time, they weren't happening to her. They were happening to her son. She would often feel like someone was taking care of her son and playing with him. She would see him talking, but there was no one around. At first, she tried not to overthink it and convinced herself that he had an imaginary friend like many kids his age. But one day, She was watching her son as usual while he talked and played with someone invisible. The shocking moment came when her son reached out with a toy in his hand to give it to the imaginary friend he was talking to. The toy suddenly floated in the air. Terrified, my sister grabbed her son and ran out of the house. She came to stay with us at my parents' house. Later, she told her husband what had happened. That's when he finally decided to reveal the truth. The story was horrifying. He should have been honest from the start. He explained that this house belonged to his late sister, who had jumped to her death after her eldest son died in an accident. After his wife and son passed away, he took their younger child and left the house, leaving it abandoned for years. The storyteller says, after hearing this story and experiencing everything she went through, my sister decided to live with us permanently, along with her husband and child. But even at my parents' house, her son continued to play with the ghost. That's the end of our story. I look forward to reading your comments on the story. If you've experienced anything similar, don't hesitate to share.